So I'm filtering some water into my 1 liter container, and I see something swimming around. It looks bigger on the camera than it is in real life, but we got a little crayfish. Back at Ottawa, Temiskaming Highland Trail, a couple of months after the last time I was here, where I did sections 9 and 8 and back from Thorne up to Opimika Creek, and that's where I am right now for this second leg. We're going to work our way up from Opimika Creek at the Mclaren Bay here all the way up to Encampment Bay, and then head back down to the car. We parked our car right over here, a little clearing off to the side out of the way of the trail down to the falls that are below here. So basically it's our tag up spot from where I left off the northern portion of that last hike, and gonna make our way up the trail off this road here and hit the trail up. And I'm not alone this time around, so we got a special guest. My son Jonathan is joining us. Say hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
There we go. So we're gonna hit the trail and we'll touch back later on. All right, we're not off to a good start there. There's the bridge. There's this little trail down here to a little creek. And the GPS says the trail is through this right here. We tried trekking through there a couple times. But yeah, it's just thorns and everything there. 0 blazes, 0 markings. So we're just gonna have to keep trekking through that, I guess, and see what we can find. All right, so the trail access is actually a little bit up the bush road there. There's the intersection back where the GPS was showing we needed to go through the brush. We actually found the trail after going through a bunch of thorns and so on, and it's here. So access it right from the bush road. This first section has been all brush and forest walk, nothing difficult, but and as usual for this trail, everything's quite well blazed. So if you find yourself somewhere where there isn't a lot of blazes, you're probably off the trail. I probably should have just realized that and walked up that bush road to find where it went. And we're back at the bush road here now. About an hour and 15 minutes in here now. So far it's been really easy trails. It's as you can see behind me in previous footage, it's pretty much nice forest walk, pretty even footing, lots of pine needles, a few small uphills, one longer one, nothing overly complex or difficult compared to the sections to the south. And I think also just went by some blowdown about an hour, 10 minutes up from Opimika. And you can see all these brand new blazes on the trees. And I think Les was here not too long ago up further north, and maybe he made it down this way, or one of the other volunteers, and put fresh blazes on all the trees here. And it's just an incredibly well marked trail. Like literally every 20-30 feet or so is a blaze or a red ribbon. So it's super nice. Yes, this is an easy trail, really easy footing, and I didn't mention it's going to be like 27, 28 degrees today and tomorrow, so really hot. So it's really nice to be in the shade here. This whole section is quite far up from the water, There's some lookout areas where you can see down. You can see the water down through the trees there. But otherwise it's up on the ridge, and pretty pleasant walk. It's very beautiful up here.
I want a Red Bull so bad.
A Red Bull?
Yeah, I want a Red Bull.
We're approaching Ottertail Creek. You can hear it off in the distance there when the wind's not blowing too much. Alright, so we're at Ottertail Creek. We've been walking along the creek. You turn left when you get to it, up the bush road here, and then Les has been here recently and marked off the crossing. The water's pretty deep further downstream. Right here is I guess a designated area because there's some areas you can rock hop or ford if it's shallower and the water is not flowing too hard. Some people can't cross here when it gets really heavy. You'll see that in the maps. There's times when it's impassable and unsafe, so they recommend scoping out ahead of time. I'm not too sure how you do that though, because it's quite a hike to get in here, or a drive to scope it out before you do your hike. But in any event, just be warned, probably in the springtime is a little bit worse. We've decided to have a little lunch here at Ottertail Creek. Nice little spot in the shady area of the rocks here. Filter a lot of water. We're going to drink a ton. There actually hasn't been any water sources all the way from Ottertail, the Opimika bridge to here. We haven't come across any water sources, and we never got down to the Ottawa River either. So just keep that in mind. But again, it's only a 2-hour walk to complete that little section there, so it's not bad at all. So I'm going to have some lunch here, a little break, and then hit the trail. So I'm filtering some water into my 1 liter container, and I see something swimming around. It looks bigger on the camera than it is in real life, but I got a little crayfish in the water bag, and it was just going around in circles around the filter when I had it upside down. That's funny. This is Ottertail Creek Point. The Ottertail Creek campsite, I wouldn't recommend that one. It doesn't look like anybody stayed there forever. Everything's overgrown, but this one's quite nice. And you saw there was you got your own beach. Yeah, nice campsite. Trail has definitely been a lot more rugged since Ottertail Creek, particularly right after you crossed. A lot of bushwhacking on the southern side there. All the greenery is growing in really fast there, so it's kind of obscures some of the markers in the trail, and it's definitely a more difficult trail here in terms of up and down and smaller technical punchy climbs and things like that. This is the weirdest thing. So there's these white like golf feathers concentrated all on this one root bulb from a tree that's fallen over, particularly on this side. Really strange. There's no carcass or anything. It's bizarre. So this is now a lot more like sections 8 and 9, closer to the water and very similar type of terrain here. I haven't really had this today up to this point. Look at that big tumor there. Mother Nature at work here. This is Point Camp, and unfortunately there's been a lot of blowdown here that, for the most part, as far as I can tell, ruined any opportunity to pitch a tent anywhere here. It's all full of blowdown. Oh, I made it to Boulder Creek, and we were really desperate to stop at this one because we were having some leg cramping issues and so on. And there's no water, the creek isn't running. And there's not much of a site here to put your tent anywhere. We'll have to figure something out. The next campsite isn't for quite a ways, so not sure what we're going to do. Alright, we decided we didn't want to try to go on to the next campsite, so we made this one work. There's actually a couple of good flat spots there once you clear the brush and stuff out of the way, so we're able to set up there and just having some dinner, cooking it up there. And so what we did for water is there is a trail going down to the river with the occasional ribbon, but it just kind of follows the creek but on the ridge all the way down, and just took a bunch of bottles down there and filled up, chugged a bunch down there, and made our way back up, so that worked out. So that's it for tonight. We'll check in again in the morning. Cheers. Good morning. It is a sunrise here, just barely over the ridge. Beautiful morning. That was probably the most quiet night I've ever experienced in my life, or at least on par with it. There wasn't any wind noise, any crickets, any loons, no water sounds. The creek is dried up beside us, so there's no sound there. No sound down from the river, from a little wake or anything. Just incredibly quiet night. Didn't really get any visitors from any animals. I heard a few sticks break a couple times through the night, and maybe a couple of the little critters, but just a super quiet night. Anyway, we're going to figure out what we're going to do today. I'm not too sure. We have a couple of options for the rest of this weekend. We've been on the trail about 15 minutes now. A bit of a late start, like 9:30ish or so. Another beautiful sunny day. Unfortunately, it's hot already with the late start, and supposed to get up into the high 20s again today. So the trail right now is easy now that we've gained the ridge on the other side of the Boulder Creek, or Boulder Brook. So hopefully it's going to give us a bit of a break here after the long climb up from the campsite, and to gain the ridge over here on this side of the creek. I guess it's natural to mostly show you the easy sections and not film the hard ones, but I don't want to give you the false impression that this trail is just this easy stuff. I'll try to film some later. This is a pretty pond campsite. It is a pretty pond. Actually quite nice. A couple of spots here for smaller tents. Another one back here maybe. Yeah. Alright, we're going to take a break here. It's been an hour and 35 minutes to get from Boulder to here. It's quite a turn off the main trail to get down to Pretty Pond, just FYI. It's a bit of bushwhacking too. Slippery. Oh, that's nice. I can't even touch it. But there might be other rocks. Careful. You just slide all the way. Oh, that's beautiful. Just slide right into it. Beautiful. Just keep sliding your feet down. There's a bit of a ledge to put your feet on, and you just kind of slide into the pond. Feels good, eh?
It's so cold.
Not a creek, good sight. There we go, there's a ledge here. This is freaking designed for swimming, man. There's rocks here right up to this step.
Oh, I take cold showers. This is freaking nuts.
Tell me an alternative reading to this. I saw this in another video. See the gap between no and T?
No TA creek.
No T and A creek.
What TA means.
Jonathan. So we've decided to camp here at no TNA or not a creek campsite. We'd only done about 10 kilometers today, and it's 2:30 already, and we would have had to push on quite a bit further to get to Wayne Creek and the rest. And anyway, we just decided just to enjoy ourselves and have some camp time rather than just hike. And tomorrow, starting tonight, it's going to start raining. It's supposed to rain throughout the day tomorrow, unfortunately, and we got a long day back. We're hoping to get for night 3 back to the Ottertail Creek Point campsite that we saw. Was quite nice. So it's going to be a long day tomorrow heading back to that. So just enjoying some camp time here. It's a really nice site, and as you saw, the great swimming area right here. Very easy to get in the water without any sharp rocks, and a beautiful site. So we're enjoying this nice weather because, as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at rain for the rest of the trip. So, say Libby. All right, I thought I'd do my usual thing here and show you what we've been doing. So, as if you're not familiar with the trail, it actually has 9 sections all the way up. My last hike here, I parked in Thorne, went all the way up to the bridge where we started this trip, and then I came all the way back down. This trip we went up the Mclaren Lake Road, parked near the bridge there where I finished last time, and made our way up this way. And the goal was to get all the way up to the end of the top of section 6, but we decided not to. We stopped around here, so just look at the next map here. So here's Mclaren Bay. We started right here at the bridge, made our way up all the way around here. As see there's no campsites all the way along here. This was for the most part a really easy trail up on the ridge for the most part, and quite simple. Then we stopped here and had lunch at the Ottertail Creek crossing. We ate right on the rocks on the river. It was beautiful. Made our way up here. This was that nice campsite I showed you, and continued on. Trail got a lot rougher all the way through. This was really rough going across here after going over the creek. On the way back, like right about here, I noticed that there was somewhere along here that there was another trail along the water with a sign on it. So I don't know. It was just totally full of brush from everything growing in on the south facing hillside there. But I'm wondering if there's an alternative. Anyway, made our way up here. Point camp was useless. There's been trees that have fallen where the potential camp spot could have been for a couple of tents. So it's not usable at this point unless you just use a hammock or a bivvy and a tarp or something. Then we continued on and went to Boulder Creek, and that's where we stayed last night. Made the most of it. The trek down to the water from there, because the creek was all dried up, it's quite a trek to go down there to grab water, but that worked out. Just got it from the river. So then today we went on from here up the hill. Lots of uphill all the way up through here. Got up all the way to over here. Then we stopped at Pretty Pond for a nice break. And then moving on, hiked our way up here. Went by. We didn't check out any of these campsites along here. I didn't even see these actually. We'll have to pay more attention last time. There was one little turn off there, so it might have been just right off the trail. We saw this turn off, but we didn't do it. And then we made up our way up here. It says Cascade, but it's actually no TNA Creek, or not a creek, and stop there. So what we would have had to do to continue all the way up to the end of the section is this 2.4 kilometers, which is probably more than what was indicated, and this 4 kilometers, and right up to there, which is at the top of the section. And then we could have either stayed at Grand Campment or come back down. So that would have been a lot more time, and we just decided just to stay here and enjoy ourselves, and I'll have to do this some other time. We're doing the we're doing the backpackers. Oh my gosh, we're doing the backpackers pantry pad thai. We had this in Algonquin the last time Jonathan and I hiked together. It was awesome. Look, all these ingredients that you add to it. And when we did it last time, we shared one because it's 2 servings. This time we've got 1 each, and we're using Jonathan's jet boil to boil all our water instead of firing up two stoves. It's gonna be good. Nice dinner spot on the shore for our pad thai. Good morning. Rained for a couple hours late into the night, but it wasn't too bad at all. It's dried up enough for us to get our stuff all packed up. A nice morning here. You know, whether it's clear or foggy, sunny, raining, it's always beautiful out here, isn't it? Alright, so we're on our way. We started around 8:30. I just did the 7-minute brutal start to the day hike up the hill that you have from that awesome campsite, the No TA Creek campsite, or not a creek. Yeah, 7-minute pretty steep incline to get up here. I'm just waiting for Jonathan. I left early because I thought this old man would get past halfway up. Here he comes. And our plan today is to see if we can get all the way to Ottertail Creek. So yesterday's day plus about 2.5 hours to get to the Ottertail Creek Point campsite, and then we'll decide from there whether we want to do the about 2-hour walk from there back to the car using the Ottertail bush road, or if we want to stay there for the night. We'll see what happens. So far the rain is still holding off. It's supposed to hold off till about noon. We'll see what happens. So if you're going southbound after the Nata Creek, no TNA Creek, no Nata Creek, aka Cascade, there's another 8-minute constant uphill. So you got 7 minutes out of the campsite to regain the trail, and another 8 or 9 minutes to gain the ridge going southbound after that. So tough start to the day, and we're already, it's just all the leaves and everything are just soaking wet, and there's just dead air. So between that and our sweat, at about 15 minutes in, we're already completely soaked. This is the Fleury Lake campsite. I don't think it's used very often. Fire pit, no benches to sit or anything, and there's water access, but it's very pond marshy like, so it's kind of difficult to get out there unless you wait out a little bit, at least right now the way it is. But I'd show you a little bit about what a typical shoreline portion of the trail looks like. Oh, okay. Yeah, not a good idea to film right then. So that gives you an idea. All scrambly things like that. And the hidden holes where your feet can go in, and trekking poles at some of the root bases, so you gotta watch for those too. It's very nice though with the moss and being right alongside the water. Made it to the Ottertail Creek campsite, the one on the point, and we decided we're going to continue on to the car. We're going to have a break here and then do the water crossing, and then just take the bush road all the way back down to the Opimika Creek Bridge. And the main reason is, I don't know if this is going to show up on the camera here, but we've got huge storms coming in, so I'm going to reverse the view here. Here's Jonathan getting some water. And this is coming down towards us. So there's no sense camping here one more night, just when we only have 2 hours to go to the car roughly. So we're gonna have a swim here, but with that coming in here, I think we're gonna rush a little bit and just move on. So we've crossed the creek, came up the bush road. Just a note, when you're crossing the creek going northbound, there's a new right-hand trail that sticks closer along the shore. Just be careful and watch your marking there so you don't miss that, because if you take the old trail on the high ground like we did, it's very overgrown and tough to track. So anyway, this is where we came out on our way here, and this time we're going to go back all the way up the bush road to the car. Rain hasn't started yet, but could at any time, who knows.